Hello, my name is Alexander Moraire, and I'm the founder of ITKeyMedia. You've tuned into our podcast about Central and Eastern European startups that are in pre-Series A stage. And our guest today is Silver Lodi, and that's the first name, that's not the pseudonym, the co-founder of Spaceit. Spaceit develops an end-to-end infrastructure for satellite operations, ground station services. Tere hommikust.
Tere hommikust, tere õhtust.
Yes. Okay. Look, so before we start with the scenario, Silver, tell me, do you believe in the future space exploration by humankind? And this will be not just let's go and test. It will be long-term missions on the moon, Mars, and onwards.
No, we have, I think, towards that target, some gentlemen and companies are currently thriving to. So we'll see whether they will succeed or not, but it is an idea of many organizations nowadays. So we might not see it in the next 10 years time, but maybe after that it might happen.
Your own company is also no easy stuff, so to say. End-to-end infrastructure for satellite operations and ground station services. So let's jump into the first round of this scenario, the product, the solution. How would you explain and describe what you are trying to build, or what you are building actually?
No, yeah, you already briefly mentioned that the Spaceit offers infrastructure for satellite operations, and we do it as a service. To be more specific, now we have developed a cloud-based platform for mission control, ground station services, and cybersecurity. It consists of the following main features. It has a cloud-based mission control software. Also, it acts as an aggregated marketplace for ground station services. Meaning that we will be integrated with different ground station networks worldwide to offer satellite missions as wide coverage with their satellites as possible. And thirdly, regarding the cybersecurity part, then we have developed a satellite operation simulator based on our platform, which is used in large-scale live-fire cyber exercises. And then it helps to develop, test, and validate different satellite communication systems.
Yes, okay. And who are the clients for each of these three elements, or like of the whole infrastructure that they're building? Who are the key clients? Private, public, both?
Both private and public organizations, specifically commercial operators, public operators, academic and research institutions, also defense-related organizations such as military, defense, government personnel. So, yep, these are the main customers.
Not often we meet, startups actually going into this space. And would you say this is a crowded space? And is it difficult, or more importantly, I would say, is it difficult to identify a client and then actually sell to these clients? Do you have already ongoing paying customers and relationship beyond pilot, or what's the current state business-wise, commercially?
Yes, we do have paying customers. So we had a revenue of 125,000 euros in 2020. For this year, we have matched that number already. And regarding the identification of the customers, then in terms of the actors in the market, then there aren't so many, I would say, compared to the, let's say, consumer business or some other industry. So and these companies are rather easily identified because they need different licenses, and again, the number of payers it isn't very big in space industry, but it is increasing though.
So you said there is a slight increase in revenue, 120. Did I understand correctly? 125
No,
K.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I actually stated that we have matched our previous financial year revenue already today.
Yeah, which is, if you compare like
Mm.
full year, that you are on your way to
Yeah, we have increased it, yes, by now
yeah. This is what I
already.
mean. Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
now, yeah, and how do you earn? So let's see this year, okay? So say today,
Mhm.
you have already more or less the revenue of the last year covered and achieved.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
what are the
Mhm.
key revenue streams, you would say, starting with the biggest?
Yeah,
What?
the key revenue streams, as maybe for other European companies, the European Space Agency procurement that
Okay.
make a big portion of the revenue. Also, we have paying customers regarding our cybersecurity simulators. Regarding if to take the other revenue streams, then of course the revenue which comes from the satellite missions, meaning who would be using our satellite or mission control software on a subscription-based basis.
So a couple of questions there. European
Mhm.
Space, what's that? Agency, right? European Space Agency.
European Space Agency. Mhm.
So you got a contract with them for a like niche kind of service area, or you are servicing ESA as a whole?
We got the contract from European Space Agency. It is difficult to say whether niche or not, since we are using the solution what we developed together with them or for them in large-scale cyber exercises with over 2,000 participants per exercise. So if to consider the industry as such, then it might be niche. So, but the number of participants, it might be not so niche.
Interesting. And describe several groups in these participants. You said what, 2,000 participants in cybersecurity
Yes,
exercise, and what types of companies or entities these are?
a different kind of
Mm-hmm.
people. The one that I was mentioning, it is called Lock Shields, and it is organized by NATO's Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence. And this is an annual event. And the people participating there were, I think, more than 20 countries represented, and consisted of people with different occupations, from defense to say government personnel.
Mm-hmm. And what's the model, this sales model, and the pricing approach as well? Is it what, subscription based, or per what, per specific kind of project? How?
Depending on the customer, depending on the event. So it can be subscription based, but as well as based on the event and the whole setup.
So speaking of your potential client base for by the end of 2022, next year,
Mhm.
who would you say are going to be your key clients?
Satellite operators,
Yes, okay.
as well as again the European Space Agency. This plays a big role in the European space market.
And as far as satellite operators, these are predominantly private companies, I understand.
Private as well as public companies, because academic and research institutions, they are also very active in space industry, launching satellites and conducting different research and tests in space.
Yes, okay, amazing. Silva, let's move on to try and understand the competitive space that you are in. How crowded
Mhm.
it is, how difficult it is to stand out from this crowd, and who are your
Yeah,
key competitors?
yes. So yeah, there are definitely companies focusing on providing the mission control solutions as we do on the market. Still they differentiate depending on the exact focus of the offering. Also, satellite companies often use in-house solutions. So many of, but no, still many of these in-house solutions might not be scalable enough to support satellite constellations, and they do not often offer extensive radio communication or do not support satellite constellations or show deficits in cybersecurity. So yeah, the market, we are aiming to remedy this situation. As for the names, I wouldn't mention any specific name here because again, there are so many in-house solutions which are again developed by each and every satellite mission.
Yep.
So
What is the entry barrier high enough um,
mhm.
for in-house solution?
Now the entry barrier basically it might be high, yes, depending on the complexity of the system that you would like to build. So if you would like to build a sophisticated, scalable system, then it definitely costs at least a couple of million euros and consumes maybe 2 years of development time. If the solution will be somehow lightweight, the entry barrier or the budget for that solution might not be very big.
Yeah, Sila, I would not forgive myself if we didn't touch the topic of Starlink by some Elon across the ocean. And so
Yeah,
they launched by now, I think somewhere around 2,000 satellites already, and the plan being what, 10,000 or 12,000, something like that. Would you say this is
something
a
like that.
yeah? So would you say, A,
Yes.
would you be able to provide proper service and servicing kind of, servicing this fleet of satellites? First question. Is this not too big a scale for you? I mean, let's say this ultimate 10K or I mean 10,000 or 12,000 satellite fleet in the sky already. This is first.
Mhm.
And second, would you, when do you think you would be ready to pitch Starlink?
That's a really good question and intriguing question, of course. But I think right now we wouldn't be able to service or support this big of a fleet. What we are aiming to, of course, is to have it or to have our solution ready to do it maybe in a couple of years' time. So it takes, of course, a lot of development efforts, and actually we don't know any specifics of this fleet. So
Okay. You have to adjust
yeah,
to
it is
the basically to
exactly
hardware itselh, right? Okay, okay. So you're not
exactly
that
each and
universal yet.
every
Okay.
yeah exactly. So each and every mission is somehow very independent and tech and software specific. So yeah, we need to know more about the mission.
Silvi, come on. I mean, what's going on here? Estonian, startups are known to be like expanding globally after they are more or less successful in, let's say, Estonia or Europe. And what's blocking you of approaching them now? Of course, making sure that they don't have this already in house, and if they don't, for
Yeah.
instance, this is an opportunity for you, and you say openly, we will do this like tailor-made solution for you. Give us your parameters, hardware, software, da da da, and then this
Mhm.
is something that would help your investors as well. Like, who are your clients? And you say one of the like most promising is Starlink. You heard of Starlink, and they are our biggest challenge as well.
Yes, no, nothing is actually stopping us
Let's
approaching.
do it. So as soon as we finish this podcast, I will need. No, I have your presentation. Let's just go ahead and
Yeah.
share this on Starlink with Starlink.
Yes, so let's consider that. But yeah, again, considering size and size of that enterprise, they most likely have the solution in-house, which
Yeah,
of
okay.
course nevertheless doesn't prevent us to talk with the Starlink people. So we would be more than happy to do it. But considering our size today and the fact that we are scaling up, then yeah, we are concentrating currently on the small and medium-sized satellite missions.
Okay, which, if speaking in fleet category, I mean number of satellites in the fleet kind of categories, how many satellites is doable and afford? I mean, you can cover now in service.
Again, very difficult to say, depending on the mission specifics. We can definitely cover, I would say, more than 10 satellites. But
Yes. Okay.
but
Okay.
there aren't so many fleets actually with so many satellites up in space.
I see. Okay. So you could say it's like your immediate target is you could say SMBs of satellite business, right?
Yes. Yeah. SMEs.
Interesting. SMFs, small medium fleets. Let's say.
SMS.
Silva, great. Let's move on then to the next round. Round 3 is very quick. Usually, I say quick, but it's not very quick usually. Q&A kind of serious. And let's start with your own productivity hacks. And by hacks, I here mean not the tools, apps that all of us know, but the way of doing things. Is there a way, like Silva way of doing things effectively?
Since I come from a rather old and boring industry as banking, so although I have adjusted to startup scenery in recent years, so the maybe one hacking point to mention here is to trust the people surrounding you and trust your personnel. So time to time, and even very often they have a very maybe better solutions and better ideas, and they might be wiser than I am. So I would say the trust is the key.
Okay, and look, Silva, to trust the people in the team and to have the right, I mean, to have the grounds or to have justified grounds to expect good or better solutions from your team than you would come up with yourself. This is a function of proper selection or proper recruitment process. Do you have any specific ideas there, or maybe some like pearls of wisdom how to do recruitment and selection for the team in a great way, so that then you can trust those people?
Yes, we are actually going through the hiring process right now, and yeah, what I would say here is that time to time, just you know that the right person is in front of you and having the discussion, but at in some cases we are using also some homework, and it is not maybe not to test the knowledge of the person, but also to see the motivation, whether one is motivated enough at least to start. So
okay. And what's the homework? Would you say homework is really a big workload, or like superficial? Let's say for a what was the last homework you gave somebody? For what role, and what was the content of this homework?
Yeah, we are hiring software developers right now, and it is a software development based home assignment. It should take. It isn't a very easy one, and there aren't so many people who have given us the perfect solution, but the ones that we have hired, they have at least tried and started doing the homework. So yeah.
And in your estimation, how much time it would take to resolve this task?
Our CTO says that it takes 4 to 8 hours.
4 to 8 hours is homework in a good example. Oh wow, that's some commitment you're looking for. Indeed, this is a good how to say, Latmus paper, right? Or a good test of motivation. Interesting, really. Now, what about some unique apps or programs, or that's like unique? I mean, unique or exotic that you could share with us. Not the Asana, Trello, Slack, all of these. Like, is there any unique really you think are just them?
Nowadays it is already becoming unique. We are using Skype still.
Skype? What do you mean Skype? What's that Skype? It's just because of your patriotic kind of you feel this patriotic like nostalgia, right? When it was truly Estonian.
Maybe nostalgia. Maybe it is just an habit. So. But regarding the platforms that we are communicating, it is such a wide variety. So I'm using from Messenger to Slack to Skype to Discord to Microsoft Teams. So it is like quite a mess, I would say even.
But I agree, Skype today is pretty exotic. So let's stop there and move on. Silva, thanks. Let's move on. Round 4, the company. So the company was founded 2015. In the year 2015, I understand. So as far as the founders, yourself, CEO, co-founder, you have Mikel Jalakas, front-end development, lead co-founder, and then the whole team, wonderful people, like many people. How many people you have now in the team, by the way?
Right now we have 8 people, and we would like to increase it by 10 to 11 by the end of this year. And also like continue
plus 3, 4 or plus 11?
Plus 3, 4 and double it Q1 2022.
Okay, what are the roles that you are now looking for? So you said programmers. What else?
Programmers.
Mostly. Okay. Then who is from the whole team? Who's doing the client-facing kind of roles?
I am doing as well as Lauri is doing, so 2 of us. And as for the founders, yes, then there were 3 founders, and me and Lauri and Mikkel, we go way back. We are friends from elementary school and high school, so yeah, quite a long friendship already.
Did you work together before Spaceit?
No.
Interesting. So you went your own ways, and then Spaceit connected you again.
Yes.
Interesting. Like 3 musketeers, more or less.
Yeah.
Like almost 20 years after you parted ways. Interesting.
Exactly.
So programmers, and what technologies you're looking for in? I mean, what experience? Right?
Java programmers.
Okay. Would you prefer remote or office-based, or you were open to anything?
We are open for different solutions. So we have we are opening now a second office in Estonia, in Tallinn. We have one in Tartu, but no, since COVID, and we have also time to time outsourced some development work. So the remote work has also worked for us well.
Okay. One last question on the team as such. So I'm as far as like hard stuff and like hardware, I mean software and all the backend and so on, this is clear. You will find a way. You will find good people and so on. As far as front client-facing roles and positions, when do you think you will need to increase or maybe to hire people for sales roles in the team, and what backgrounds you would need for those people?
Yeah, again, very good question. I would say that as for the sales, the need comes definitely into play when the client portfolio is big enough that it needs everyday management, as well as we see that in some certain specific area, geographical location, that we just do not have enough manpower to cover the sales activities. As for the profession and previous experience, definitely space or aviation knowledge would be beneficial. Also, it might be software development part. So it depends very on the person's personality.
See, I'm happy I asked this question because basically it made you think what kind of background would help here, right? It's not that easy.
That's a good question.
Interesting. I really am looking forward to see your first salespeople that you hire beyond the founder, team. Okay, interesting. Silva, thank you very much. With this, let's move on to round 5, and the last but not least, of course, and this is Formula F3, and we call this funding for the future. As far as the future, we'll discuss in a second. And by now, I understand your total investment is around 1.1 million euros over 3 rounds, right? And the last one was raised in August 2021.
Nope, I would say yes. So we have received external funding in the amount of 1.1 million. That's true. As for the rounding, I would say there has been only one round, which was the one closed in August this year, because the other amounts we have received as grants and grants from European Space Agency as well as European Union.
I should have said total investment and including pre-seed round in August 2021. Great. Now, and as far as your lineup of investors, this is Icebreaker VC, I guess?
Yes, Icebreaker VC and UG Investments from Estonia.
Yes, UG Investments as well, right. Now, I will try to formulate this diplomatically, but try to answer not diplomatically if you wish so. Maybe you don't have much experience as far as interaction with VCs, but like this does not cover your VCs, right? That you work with, the VCs you work with. What would you say is the ideal model of cooperation with the VC? Meaning VC does a good job when, okay, money, okay, so they click the wire transfer goes and reaches your bank account. This is very important, of course. What else you would expect from ideal VC, like Icebreaker or UG?
Yeah, I think we have right now an ideal VCs and ideal work work structure with the VCs, because first of all they have knowledge in utilities and in space business. Also, they are hands-on as much as we actually would like them to be. So time to time more, time to time less. We can always call, contact, reach out to them. So they are always available. And due to their previous experience, they have also good contacts, which would help us in our journey.
Okay. And they have lots of companies in portfolio, I can see now, right? As far as Icebreaker, for instance. And UG, I haven't checked yet, but I'm sure they're also experienced. Now, in a nutshell, what this seed round investment is going to be used for, and when do you plan the next round?
The seed round will be used mainly for the product development as well as sales activities, partly in legal. And we are planning to fundraise again after 18 to 24 months. And yeah, we are currently not disclosing the amount.
Yeah, of course, of course. And now the most difficult question: what's the exit scenario for Silvia Lodi in this company?
Oh, I wouldn't say that what is the exit scenario for me only. So there are other investors also involved in the company. So I would say that the exit for investors, it is always depending on the specific situation. And I think the exit will be done or won't be done, or I would say will be done then when the terms and conditions are very favorable for the investors as well as for the employees of the company.
Silvia, you're now answering as a banker, and I was hoping to get an answer from a romantic startup guy focusing on business above every cloud, although the business itself is cloud-based. And this is one of those rare situations when a cloud-based business actually services clients that are above actual clouds, and you give me an extract from like financial statement. Anyway, Silva, thanks very much. That was great time, and I wish you all the best. It's
Thank you,
interesting to
Alex.
see how Estonians are like breaking grounds and going higher and higher in space. And wish you all the best. We will be covering your successes on the go. Silva, thanks a lot. Great chat. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you for inviting us here. Thanks.